All right, it's Eddie Trunk, and we've got a virtual metal free-for-all here in the studio right now. As I mentioned earlier... As I mentioned earlier, Mike Piazza's made his triumphant return. Got a lot of positives. Mike, everybody happy you're back? Hanging out here with us? You know, get up here a little bit more from Florida. The people miss you.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was like the golf clap.
Oh, the golf clap, yeah.
That was such a polite clap.
Yeah, well, a very polite audience. And now we welcome into the studio for I just witnessed the first ever live performance, and I'm honored to now host what is this not the first ever interview?
Yes.
Radio interview?
Yes.
This is very historic right now. I had the honor of introducing this band a little while ago and now having them on the show, Adrenaline Mob. And now everybody's saying, who? But we have to explain that a little bit more because obviously Mike Portnoy is here. Good to see you.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
And a guy that is, Mike sent out a tweet this week and it really sums it up. One of the best kept secrets in the guitar rock world. Listen, I
Give him
live
a golf
here.
clap.
I mean, come on. Mike Orlando, ladies and gentlemen.
Say hello, Mike.
What is up?
And if you don't know Mike Orlando yet, trust me, when this record comes out, you will know a lot about Mike Orlando because there's some jaw-dropping stuff going on off of his fingers on that guitar, man. It was really amazing. Really amazing. And also a part of Adrenaline Mob, a man who's been in here with his other band, Symphony X, a couple times, Mr. Russell Allen. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Eddie. Thanks for having us.
Clap for Russell.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Smashing to be here this evening. Thank you. Thank you.
The fact that you can still speak after how I just heard you sing is pretty amazing. You don't even sound like ripped up. Most of the times I have singers in here after they did a show, they're like, "Hi, Eddie, nice to see you."
Yeah.
But you're good.
I could do that.
I think it's great to be here tonight. But yeah,
And you just came back from a big run of dates with Symphony X in Europe, right?
well, we did Europe first, then the States, and I was just in South America actually with them.
And then how long have you been home since you did this gig tonight?
I haven't. I went straight from the plane to Mike Portnoy's house, and I've been rehearsing for a week, and then the show. So actually tonight, I'm officially home. You know,
You're officially home,
yes.
and then you came home starting your first gig with another band.
Pretty much, yeah.
So,
yeah.
And a man also here on the end, we know him from Stuck Mojo. We know him from Fozzy. He deals with Jericho on a regular basis. That alone gets him a golf clap.
Yeah. Bravo, bravo.
Rich Ward, good to see you, Rich.
Nice to see. Oh, here,
The Duke of Metal.
The Duke is here.
Yes,
The Duke of Metal is here. You're relatively new to this band, from what I understand. We'll get into that in a little bit. And also on bass, Mr. Paul DeLeo.
Paulie D.
Yeah.
Paulie D's in the house.
That's the original Paulie D.
Yeah.
That's the original?
Yeah, forget about that Jersey Shore stuff. That's the real Paulie D.
I didn't even know the Jersey Shore Paulie D. I don't even know there was a. I never
Forget
saw the
about
Jersey
it.
Shore.
That's the real
clap,
Paulie.
clap for Eddie that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
That I don't know who the other
right,
Paulie D is.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you,
fact
Rich.
that you don't watch Jersey Shore and you have no,
No.
pop culture reference to
no
that.
clue. No
Yeah.
clue at all.
Yes.
Thank
a
you.
true American
Thank you.
hero.
Yes.
When last I saw Paul DeLeo, he was playing with Joe Lynn Turner, my good buddy, at in Jersey, and then Russell and Mike showed up there, and
That was when his.
That
was
his
we
audition,
sealed
but-
his fate.
Yeah.
We came down to see him play with Joe Lynn Turner, and that's when we knew it. That was our man.
I turned around, and on one shoulder Portnoy's there, on the other shoulder Russell's there, and we're in a little club in Jersey seeing Joe Lynn Turner in Dingbats. I'm like, what are you guys doing here? And not that Joe Lynn's not great, but I was I sensed something was up, and then I knew this man was under the microscope a little bit. Paul, did you know you were being scouted that night? Get up on a microphone,
Come on,
Paul.
man.
Come on, talk a little
How
bit.
you guys doing?
Did you know you were being scouted for a gig?
There was a mutual friend that actually gave me a call and said, "Hey, I got a little surprise for you. Something's going on." And next thing I know, here I am with a bunch of surprises from 3 different fellas: Mike Orlando, Mike Portnoy, Russell Allen, and that was the beginning of it all, basically, right there.
Yeah, and then, Rich, how long have you come into this? How long have you been part of it?
4 days. Yeah.
Is it 4 days?
Yeah.
Seriously, 4 days.
It has been. Yeah, but I think the idea, and I won't speak for the rest of the fellas, but I think the idea was, Mike and Jericho are friends, and I think you guys were talking, right? And
Mike
and just,
Portnoy.
Mike Portnoy.
Right.
Yeah, I was
Jericho.
telling Jericho that we were looking for a kick-ass rhythm guitar player. We needed our Scott Ian, Malcolm Young, James Hetfield, just that anchor. And I was like looking for, and he was like, dude, what about Rich?
Yeah. And Chris immediately texted me and said, hey, what'd you think about, and he kind of told me and dropped the names. The ironic thing about it is that, Chris always feeds me, just like all the boys when there's like info about this band or that band. So I kind of knew this thing was happening, and I texted him and said, dude, put in a word. You know what I mean? Because this is obviously for any rhythm guitar player, this is a dream gig.
But you're a in your own right, a complete guitar player and a great player as well.
Well, thank you.
So coming into this situation, obviously Mike Orlando, especially what I saw tonight, it's pretty stupid what this guy can do. But in your own right, you're a great player as well. But in this band, you're really more in the supportive role to hold down that rhythm. You like doing that? You like
I
that
love
kind of
it.
gig?
Yeah, I've always been, rhythm guitar is 4 minutes of the song and 20 seconds of it is the solo. So I've always decided that the most important thing is to kick ass in the 4 minutes.
said, the Duke is
Yeah.
spoken.
And
Yes.
Wonderful. And then on top of that, there's always going to be, no matter how hard you try to be a great lead player, there's always in every town going to be a Mike Orlando who is going to cut your feelings to the bone, and you will leave dejected. And I even told him, I said, when I heard the material, I said, this has got to be fixed in the studio. No human can play like this. I mean, as a guy who engineers and produces records and plays guitar, I knew it was fake. There's no way. I thought it sped up or there's some kind of trickery.
Well, we're going to get to him. We're going to get to him because this. I need to figure out what's going on there myself in a second. So we're working around the room a little bit.
It's the Matrix. He downloaded a program. That's the only thing that could have happened.
And now what's cool though, see, I've always loved bands that had I always loved two guitar bands. Always. And so I think you being in is really important to the sound, and it sounded that way tonight. And I also love something I saw tonight too. I'm a huge fan of that Thin Lizzy-like harmony guitar, dual guitar stuff. And you guys did a little bit of that tonight, and I'm sure as this band gels and grows, that's something you guys can also work and explore and work into, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
Clay.
All right, so we realize with the two new guys in the band that's been together for all of however many months.
Pablo and Cruz.
The first time I heard this band, and I've been telling people about it ever since, was Mike and I traveled together to go see the Big Four in Indio, California. And I learned what it's like when you have to stop for Starbucks every 10 miles with Portnoy. Because not only does this psychotic have to get Starbucks at every rest stop, but when we got to Indio at the Big Four, he got a Starbucks tattoo on his body.
Me and Charlie Benante
You
got
and Charlie.
matching Starbucks metal tattoos.
Where is it?
Look at this.
Forever metal.
That's so insane. It's so insane.
Yeah,
it
me and
so
Benante got
scares
it.
me
That
as
was
a
a
guy that's
special
got no
day, man.
tattoos. I'm driving down the highway with him and his wife, and he's drinking Starbucks while negotiating a phone call with the tattoo artist to get the Starbucks tattoo when we arrived at the Metallica show. I'm like, you got a piece of this company or what? I mean, it was unbelievable.
I better get free Starbucks for life at this point. Just walk in and just flash my leg,
You should. It should be like a speed pass.
They're going to amputate my leg. They want my leg.
You're gonna get lasered off.
Point being, it was on that trip that I first heard you broke out this music, and we listened to it in the car, and it floored me. And tonight, obviously, was the first show, but give us the story of Adrenaline Mob, how this came together. Because Russell, of course, everyone knows you from Symphony X. Everyone knows Mike is no longer in Dream Theater and is only in 15 other bands right now, which is another story. And then Mike Orlando, the hidden, I don't know, the guy from outer space here that just dropped in, is blowing people away on guitar. This really was started with you, Mike Orlando? Was this the thing, that you were the catalyst for all this?
Yeah.
Get right on the mic.
Sure.
I was basically working on these songs for a long time, years, just kind of crafting them, put them aside, work on them, put them aside.
But before we get to that, what is your background? Because I can hear you're a New York guy.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Staten Island.
You're Staten Island. Get right on that mic so we can hear
Staten Island.
There we go. Now.
Yeah.
Staten Island.
Stagnant Island.
Now,
No,
a guy
Staten
like you that plays guitar like you can play guitar, and a guy like me who's lived here my whole life, how we didn't cross paths before this, I don't know. Although maybe you sent me demos and I ignored them. I'm sorry if I did.
I was up here with Mike because I'm good friends with Zach and Phil Chulo, his right-hand guy.
course.
So those are my boys.
Wait a minute. So you've been in my studio
Yeah.
before?
Oh yeah, I was here with him too.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 times he's
I'm
been
getting
here
old. I'm
with,
getting
with
senile.
us.
Are you seriously?
Yeah.
You've been,
Yeah.
But you didn't come in here as
No, I
the
didn't come
guitar.
in
You just
pushing
came in
anything.
hanging out.
Yeah, I was just hanging with Zach and the boys, and I was just.
Well,
hanging.
Phil's told me about you. When
Yeah.
I saw Phil in Oklahoma, he grabbed me. Said, "Well, I tell you about that guy," So I knew, he told me.
Yeah.
But
That's how I learned about him was through Phil, and Phil told me because my wife had met Phil at a show.
Phil, we should explain who Phil is.
Phil, yeah.
Phil Chulo is Zach's brother-in-law, is he not?
No.
I don't
know.
know.
He just his
His best.
Yeah,
he does security
yeah,
for him on the
yeah.
road
but
now.
they're family. Yeah.
So
Okay, they're
anyway,
family, okay.
I got to know Phil, and then Phil said, you got to check out my boy Mike. He's really awesome on guitar. And I ended up coming out one night with those guys doing Zach. You had Zach on the air. I think it was at the XM show though. It was a little tiny.
How long ago we talked?
This was a while ago. This is years
This is
ago.
when
4
Zach was
4 or 5
This
years
is when
ago.
Zach was drinking.
Oh yeah, that night, dude, was like I don't even want to go into that.
Portnoy's got a great Zach night and my radio
Yeah.
show too. Every night Zach's ever been in here has been one for the ages. But Portnoy's got a great story
Well, before
too.
he was totally like whatever, off the deep end, he leaned over and said to me, this guy's really good,
bro.
Yeah, bro, this guy's kick ass, man. And I was like, okay, so and actually, me and Mike were starting to work on a solo album that I'd been putting together for a while, and then we were working on that, and he had another guy for some material that he had, and he brought me a couple songs, and I said, well, you know what? Yeah, we were working on my stuff, and I was like, hey, he's got this other project he's trying to get launched, so I said, well, bring it over and let's see what it is. So I just sang on a couple songs, really, and just kind of tweaked the arrangements, put the harmonies in, and doing some stuff, and then we sent it off to a couple companies or whatever, and they wanted to hear more. So we sat down one afternoon and wrote Angel Sky at my place. On the line. I'm getting confused. On the line, and then it just started from there. We just started going through a lot of his old, some of his old riffs, or we wrote some songs together. We pretty much wrote this whole thing in the shanty shack in a shed that I converted into a studio in the back of my house. It's an old wood shed that I gutted and made a studio out of. And me and him wood shedded this whole album out there, and then this guy right here, Mr. Portnoy, was calling me up going, dude, I want to do something. I'm like, okay, I got this.
Was this before or after Dream Theater situation?
This
or
was
during?
After.
Well, me and Russ have known each other
Yeah.
for years.
I know that, but I mean, you coming into this.
we knew we wanted to do something together, and then it was just a matter of time. And then, post Dream Theater and Avenged Sevenfold, it was like, yo, now's the time. Let's do something.
Yeah.
And we were originally talking about maybe something else.
Yes.
But then Russ was like, yo, you got to check out these tunes that I've been writing with this guy, Mike Orlando. And he sent me a couple of tracks.
That was the best
text.
That was the best text email thing I ever got back from you, because it was like, we were talking about doing this other thing, and Mike's like, well, that's great, maybe you could bring that in, and to what I want to do with this other thing. And I'm like, but you got to hear what I got cooking, man. He goes, well, if it's cooking so good, why don't you bring it on over and share it with what I'm doing over here? I'm like, dude, just listen to this and tell me what you think, and so he listens to it. About 10 minutes go by, which is an eternity for Mike Portnoy not to respond with a text message or an email or something. And then it's like all capital letters, holy,
Starts with an S, right?
exactly. And this is awesome, blah, blah,
Yeah,
let's do it.
I
And
was
he-
floored from note one.
Yeah.
I heard it immediately. I was like, these tunes
And it was great
are
'cause
amazing.
We were still writing at the time. And so he was like, I'll tell you, when we did Feelin' Me that night.
No, we banged out Freight Train.
Freight Train. We did Freight Train one night, and we're like, well, if you like that, here, check this one out. And we mailed in the demo to that one. A lot of these songs, me and Mike just kind of just wrote in a night, or two.
Now, Mike Orlando, because we've got 3 mics in the
Yeah, I'm
studio:
sorry.
Piazza, Portnoy, Orlando. Mike Orlando, on that microphone again for a second, because I want to find out from you. We know you've got this friendship, or Zach, and Zach kind of put you out there a little bit, but